So Undermine just left early access and it's a great time to try it out. At least I think so, because I'm really enjoying my time on the ground. You got some base building, a lot of exploration and a funny respawn system. But it has some challenging sides to it too. So how about I just give you some spoiler-free tips just to give you that little edge at the start? Sounds good? I'm Epokk and these are my beginner tips for Undermine. Let's start off with the bombs and the keys. Now with bombs you can destroy all kinds of obstacles or you can use them in boss fights as extra damage. Now you can even solve puzzles with them. And pretty much the same thing with the keys. Well, except for the damage part. But the problem is they are very rare. Now it gets a little bit easier later on since you can buy them before you enter the mines. But even then they are rare. So my first tip would be just to ration them. At least don't use your keys or bombs until you've explored the entire floor. And the reward doesn't always justify the use of a bomb or a key. Now in some events I've encountered situations where I would have to use 1 or 2 keys to open a chest in exchange for some gold, and I guarantee you if you're out of either now, the odds are that in the next room you really wish that you had a bomb or a key on you. We're playing a miner, so gold has to be the most important currency, right? It really isn't. Now Undermine is basically a marathon, and you can't keep going deeper into the levels when you're out of health. So when you find yourself in a room that for example will trade health for a chest or an unknown item, just don't bother. You need your health more than whatever the potential reward is. Since your health is so important, let's talk about regaining it. Now food will be your #1 way to get all your health back, so prioritize getting upgrades that center around your food. Now for example buy these salt and pepper shakers from the wizard for about 2000 and 6000 gold. And just be sure to also upgrade the shop which you'll find in the mines. You can get them to sell more food by buying an upgrade from this vendor which you'll unlock by joining the loyalty program for 1200 gold. There are 5 types of chests in game. Now the basic chest which can drop gold and a random item. You got the thorium chest which can drop recipes and the thorium you need to craft things. You got the gold chest which basically contains huge amounts of gold. And you got the big chest that is an upgraded version of the basic chest which has more gold and items. And then we have the 5th one that I want to talk about, the cursed chest. Now this chest can contain all kinds of items like for example the blessings, potions, basic items, familiar eggs. But it will always give you a curse. Now curses can mean all kinds of things. Going from destroying items to decreasing your damage or even spawning spiders for each enemy you kill. Now curses can be crippling and can be removed in various ways like potions and relics, but honestly just avoid them until you're more comfortable with the game. Oh, and when we're talking about curses, you can also get items by destroying the braziers. Now the purple ones will give you an item but will also give you a curse. So just be warned before you start using bombs around these things. When I started playing the game, and this may be because of the top-down perspective, I kept constantly forgetting that I could jump. Now honestly, jumping is a huge part of this game. You can dodge a lot of the ranged attacks and some boss moves by just simply jumping. So if you're like me, quick reminder, don't forget you can jump. If you find yourself on fire for whatever reason, just walk into a puddle of water to remove the debuff. Oh, and if you find yourself near red explosive barrels, try to stand in a puddle as you destroy them, so that way you won't even get burned. Pots of oil on the floor don't really feel like a huge threat, at least when they aren't on fire. But another problem with them is the fact that they'll slow you down and you can't jump while in oil spots. So when you're fighting, try to stay out of them, that way you can run and jump out of the way when danger heads your way. Okay, let's talk about surviving rooms as efficiently as possible. Now of course you can swing your axe around like a madman, but you can also throw it, and it's a skill that you should really use more than just for killing distant enemies. Now with the amount of enemies that you sometimes got coming for you in every room, kiting the enemy is more often than not a valid option. So basically just run away from the enemies, run in a circle or something, and just keep throwing your axe at them. And as we're at this subject, don't forget that environmental hazards like spikes, pressure plates and pits are just as deadly to your enemies as they are to you. So sometimes with some smart positioning and guiding the enemies over these traps, you can reduce their threat to you by quite a bit. PS, don't forget your pickaxe will also hurt enemies on the way back to you, and that has already saved me quite a few times. Now if you follow my channel, which you probably should, wink your face, you've heard this already before. Now when I play a game with challenging combat, I like to enter the boss fight without any attempt to kill him, well at least the first minute or so, and just don't litter the battle scene with even more fighting animations. Just focus on dodging, look what kind of attacks he does, how far they reach and if he has any weak spots. It's not because you get a new miner every time you die that you should die needlessly. Forget the bosses, traps and curses, pilsers are the real challenge in this game. Well, I'm just kidding. Kinda. These little slime looking things, they will show up at the moment that gold drops on the floor. They'll try to steal some gold, run to the side of a room and seemingly jump away with it. Try to only break one gold node each time and pick everything up as quickly as possible. And if a pilser successfully grabbed a piece of gold, just try to hit him with your axe to whack him away, and that way you can recuperate your gold. On each floor there are 2 secret rooms hidden away. These can contain anything going from chests to puzzles to shrines and more. But how can we find them? Now you will most likely find them by looking for sparkling spots. Now if you see them in the middle of one of the 4 walls, this kind of effect, there is a secret room behind it. Now just blow the wall up with a bomb or anything else that can do explosive damage, including just charging enemies, and there you go, you found yourself a secret room. But the only problem is that these sparkling spots only show themselves when an explosion happened in the same room. There are some other ways to find the rooms easier, like for example with a potion of true sight or a special familiar called the Djinn. So those were my 11 beginner tips for Undermine. Now honestly, I'm gonna add a second video to this topic because for the very simple reason, as I was editing this video, I was constantly thinking to myself, you know, I should really have added that and added that and added that. And before I knew it, I already had 10 new tips. And honestly, I don't really want to add them even more because then the video would get a lot more bulky than it already is, and I don't like that. So I will make a second video if it's already out right now. You can find it in the top right corner right now, or in the description or in a fixed comment. And otherwise, you will probably have to wait till Saturday because I still have to edit it and record some gameplay just to showcase my points. But yeah, I'm going to be working on that, so be sure to subscribe. I will also be making a few other videos on Undermine because I'm really liking the game and I really want to make some more guides for it just to help you guys out. So be sure to subscribe. And if you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up so other people can find it too. Guys, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.